Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus A330 pilot, and welcome to our first flight in the iniBuilds A340-300 with version 1.0.3. Today we'll take her from Lisbon down to Rio de Janeiro, which is an historical service that Air Portugal used to operate on the Airbus A340. Without any further ado, I suggest we get right into this, and if you haven't seen my update on all the topics that have been implemented with version 1.0.3 just yet, then be sure to check it out using the link in the comments below. Well, and then let's get straight into this. So here we are in the cockpit. We will be flying the EIS-1 version of the aircraft, since Air Portugal used the A340s historically. Also using MK Studios for the Lisbon scenery here, which is just absolutely awesome. It really is. It's one of my favorites in the entire sim. Well, and the Asobo handcrafted for Rio de Janeiro. Alright then, without any further ado, let's go straight into this, starting with the power-ups. So engine masters are off, start selector norm, the weather radar is off, landing gear lever down, wipers off, battery voltage above 25.5 on all three of them, and then we can turn the electrical power on. So while we're waiting for the power to come up, let's go ahead and go down into the electronic flight bag to have a look at our flight plan. We can import that one from SimBrief, and then we'll go right over to have a look. So starting with the general overview of our planned route of flight, this is what it looks like. Departing Lisbon out to the Atlantic Ocean across Madeira, and then all the way down to Brazil, and right down Brazil to Rio. Significant weather chart looks very good for the first part of our flight. Then we are going through the intertropical convergence zone, which shows a little bit of CB activity down here, and then finally we are heading right down in along the Brazilian coastline. So overall the weather looks pretty good for today's flight. Let's have a look at the airport weather up next. So we are departing from Lisbon, and we've got some light winds from the west over here. Runway 02 active at the moment, however they may change that around due to the light winds like any time. Now our arrival in Rio de Janeiro currently has the forecast for the arrival time of 060 at 15, few clouds, temperature up to 29 degrees. Now our alternate in Sao Paulo also has beautiful weather conditions. Then let's have a look into the flight plan. So Portugal 073 is going to be our call sign, flying the Charlie Sierra Tango Oscar Charlie, which is our bird right down here. Departing on time, we're going to arrive 10 minutes ahead of schedule, and we are not critical with any of our weights. Rather light today, 159.4, even though we are carrying 270 passengers. Cruising in 3.5 initially, 3.6, 7 and 8 later on. With all of that in mind, let's have a look into our fuel plan. And down here, we're seeing 3% contingency, which equals 17 minutes, plus the arrival and alternate fuel, so I really don't see much reason to take extra here. 67.8 is our minimum plus 600 taxi, so let's make that 69 tons of fuel, and then we should be more than good to go. So import that from SimBrief, then we can go down here to the fuel section, 69 tons. Alright, and that is looking good. So let's do an instant load down here, and then we can head over to the GSX options, quickly go ahead and request our boarding. Now, while that's ongoing, we can continue with our preliminary cockpit preparation. So, ADRs 1, 2, 3 coming on, APU fire test is looking good. Then we can make sure that our comms are correctly set. So let's go ahead and find the first frequency here for Lisbon. And that's going to be delivery on 118.955. Here we go, 18955, like that. So we want to make sure that we listen and transmit a VHF 1, listen to VHF 2, and also get the intercom up. And for now we are just going to switch the transmitter to the intercom. VHF 2 can already go at 1 to 1.5 down here. And here it is. Alright, cool. So please switch that active. Thank you very much. Cool. With that now done, temperature is 15 degrees over here. I suppose that means we don't really need the APU just yet, but I am already going to turn on our signs because boarding has commenced now. Alright, excellent. Then let's move on and go back down into the EFB and do our preliminary calculations. So we got the parking chart, we got the ground chart, then let's also find our SIDs of runway 02. Should be these over here, if they would be so kind to load, which they are now. Alright, so which SID are we gonna fly on? It's the Olbot 1 Lima. Is that anywhere on here? Not really. Interesting. That one then. Oh yeah, that looks more like it. Olbot 1 Lima, here it is. Alright, then we might as well pin that one. Great, now with that in mind, let's continue on to our takeoff performance. Now we are not going to take any intersection here, that's pretty clear. Synchronize the weather, and our takeoff weight is going to be 228.4, so let's calculate 229. So that's 22900, flaps 2, air conditioning off, calculate, and 282.8 is the max takeoff weight. All the figures are looking good over here, beautiful. Alright, now let's go for the technical acceptance here. We'll press and hold the recoil for 3 seconds. And that's looking good, nothing in here. Then a quick check down at the FMS. Now this database shows out of date, but I have just updated it. So let's just go to data and aircraft status again. And look at that, suddenly we also have an active nav database. A340-300 CFM56 nav database up to date, that is looking good. Then let's go to init and hit init request, uplinking our current flight plan. Finally, checking the technical status of our plane, we got the oxygen, which is good, our hydraulics are good, the engine oil is full, flaps are up, and those agree with the lever, the spoilers are retracted. Then we can test our alternate brakes, and looks like that bug is still not fixed. So ground equipment, remove chocks, and yeah, suddenly that works. Alright, good. Parking brakes set again. And the chocks are back in place. Okay. On the wheel page, yeah, brakes are cold, so the brake can remain set. Accumulator has discharged quite a bit. Let's go ahead and pressurize the blue hydraulics, and that is going to recharge the accumulator. That's a pretty quick process, just like in the real world as well. Then we can turn that back off again. Alright, with that our aircraft's ready to go. What is it printed there? Flight initialization, flight 73, runway 02, arrival runway 28 is planned for the time being. We'll see about that. Alright, thank you very much. So with that, the preliminary is complete. The lights are on so that we can do the walk around, and while you are going out for that, I'm going to start with the cockpit preparation procedure. Now, you guys have seen that often enough on an Airbus, so that I'm not gonna go over the entirety of what we're doing over here. Alright, that is looking perfect. So, refueling is complete, then the pumps can come on. Fire test is good, maintenance panel is set, and the right hand side is all set. CBR test is good, and the rest is done. Right, going down to the main panel then, let's go ahead and align that standby horizon. Then down to the weather, QNH is 1019. So might as well set that, 1019 and 1019. It's the 7th of November 25 today, the right hand side is also set. Oh, first time status page on this one. Looks like there is an improvement on the status page. Okay, that's set. Right hand side is also set. Then let's go ahead and start with our FMS setup. Unfortunately, we can still not move the EFB anywhere useful, so we'll just have to live with the SimBrief dispatch from the 2D EFB here. So, going from Lisbon to Rio de Janeiro, alternate Sao Paulo, Air Portugal 073, cost earnings 30, flight level 350. So far, so good. Then let's go for the departure, runway 02, and we are going via the Allbot 1 Lima. Here it is, insert, and then for our arrival into Rio, runway 28 is planned, so I am just going to enter that for the time being. If we have to change that around later on, then so be it. Divro 1 Alpha arrival, and we are coming from Molzu. Alright, that's looking good. Insert, and then let's have a look at our route and what we have just entered. So, flight plan is selected. Charts. Here we go. So straight out to MPAT above 3,000 feet, then a right-hand turn, waypoint 757. Then right again to 758, 755 above level 160, and then via Ekper to Allbot, and that matches the chart quite well. Alright, so that is in. Then let's go back to our standard setup down here. Now let's go for data and stored waypoints. We got the list emergency 1 point over here from LPPT02 slash, what's the runway track? 032. And that's just 15 miles ahead due to the terrain in the area. So list X1, secondary, copy active, and we can enter that over here with a holding, and that's going to be with 1 minute lag time. The rest can stay as it is, and then immediate return to Lisbon with an approach of an ILS runway 02. Okay, good. So then let's continue with the fix info. LPPT02, 032 is going to be the radial for the runway track, list emergency 1, like this. Alright, now in it, next page, 159.4/25. For the fuel we wanted, oh come on, 69 tons. Okay, so, and the fuel figures down here give us alternate 5.1, final 2.6, and contingency 1.8. Alright, so, next up, let's go ahead and enter the step climbs. So, flight level 360 at Sierra November Tango. Then flight level 370 at Gamba. Followed by flight level 380 at Pinru. Oh god, alright, then we just gotta delete that one. So, Pinru / 380. No? Okay. Yeah, insert that temporary one and then let's try that again. So, Pinru 380. Yeah, that's better. Even though I got no idea what that is on the right hand side there. That's not supposed to be there, is it? Well, in any case, we got what we needed. And obviously this should have brought us into a temporary flight plan here, which we would have to execute, but okay. I'm just gonna leave it that way. Now, a couple more things that we could do at this point that I am not, however, would be to enter a constant Mach segment for the cruise to enter the ETOPS points, but we might as well just do that en route. Okay, so for the takeoff page, it's a flaps 2 takeoff, that much I can tell you for sure already. Using 55 degrees. And the speeds are going to be 148, 153, 158. Okay, so reduction in acceleration 1000 each. Engine out acceleration is going to be 1500 above the ground. Very nice to see that this field is finally back. And D-rate 2 for the climb. And finally Lisbon 02 going down into the progress page. Cruising 350, optimum 340, maximum 370. That all looks very good. And now that everything is entered, we got an extra fuel of 2 minutes. Alright, not too bad. Wind data should be there already. Let's just request it again just to be sure. And, well, that's everything. So, now down into the CPDLC. Message record is erased. Then connection status, ADSC should read armed, not connected. And then we would also check the position reports to make sure that the auto position reports are off. Doesn't look like that's simulated at the moment, so be it. Lisbon departure, SB, GL arrival ADIS, and we're gonna get those from Say Intentions AI, please. Send and send. Okay. Then, while we're waiting, let's go on to the departure request. We're an Airbus 340-300 from LPPT to SBGL. Our gate is, I think, 122 or something? 143. Okay, station will be LPPT. So, do we have an ATIS in the printer? No, we don't. Let's see if we can find an ATIS. No, we can't. Okay, so that's still broken by the looks of it. Alright. Well, in that case, we're just gonna make an ATIS up. So we'll say we have alpha. Okay, so request pre-departure clearance, Air Protocol 073, A340-300 to Rio at Lisbon stand 143, ATIS alpha, sent. And while we're waiting for the clearance, let's go up to the glare shield. Flight director's coming on, initial climb, flight level 70, and the rest is set. Okay, beautiful. So our entire setup is completed. Now we're just waiting for ATC. And here we are. Request being processed. If no response in 2 minutes, request new flight and app. Alright, thanks. Close. So, what else can we do in the meantime? I don't think anything, actually. In 5 minutes we're supposed to go off block. That seems to be fitting pretty well. Our flight attendants are already welcoming our guests. Okay then, let's start the APU. Come on. Here we are, APU starting. Company message. So, is that the ATIS that we've been waiting for? Nope, departure request status. Okay. And here's our clearance. So, cleared to Rio de Janeiro, All 1 Lima departure, expect runway 2, and that's confirmed. Maintain 10,000. Departure 12513, squawk 3476. And that's in here, so Wilco and send 12513. Might as well put that up here. as a reminder. And there we go. So it looks like that bug that it brings us onto the recall page is still there. APU is online. Well then, let's go for the departure briefing, please. So we're going to depart Lisbon, runway 02, Obo 1 Lima departure, initial climb 10,000, MSA up to 4,000 rounded. Extra fuel and time 2 minutes. Thank you for that. Now our taxi has no hotspots. Stop margin for an RTO will be a couple meters. Engine out sits straight at 15 miles to enter the holding, climbing 4,000. Our our departure is our best arrival as well. Above the maximum landing weight, the overweight landing procedure does apply. But apart from that, we got nothing special or non-standard. I don't see any threats for today's departure either, do you? No? Alright, nice. And that's our briefing completed. Now let me just give you that chart here. Look good. Alright, beautiful. So if that's all completed, let's do the cockpit preparation checklist, please. Gear pins and covers removed, fuel quantity 69 tons, seatbelts on, ADRs, nav, and barrel ref QNH 1019er. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Then we're not technically flying through the NUT HLA today, but let's do the guideline nonetheless. So, pre-flight, aircraft acceptance, ETOPS pre-departure service check is checked, RBSM equipment checked, clock and GPS mode checked, HF checked, message log checked erased, ADSC checked armed, ATC auto position report checked off, IRS full alignment performed, ground speed checked 0, NUT HLA waypoints on OFP versus primary flight plan, don't really have to be checked because we're flying an airway here, and wind data entered, and that's the guideline complete down to oceanic entry. Wonderful. So with that, pretty much everything is completed. So let's see what our boarding is doing. Surprise, it's completed. So please prepare the position for pushback and departure. That sounds a little violent, the way they are closing those doors. But anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel. In the name of Air Portugal, welcome aboard our Airbus A340 on our flight to Rio de Janeiro. Today's flight time will be 9 hours and 50 minutes. We're expecting a smooth flight at an altitude of initially 35,000, later on up to 38,000 feet. For the time being, sit back, relax, and make yourself comfortable, and we will update you on our arrival weather as soon as we start our approach into Rio de Janeiro. We're just finishing up the last paperwork, then we will make our way to the runway 02 for our departure today, so we should be going in a matter of the next few minutes. Thank you very much for your attention, and once again, welcome aboard. Okay, so we are ready. Then let's see our payload. Zero fuel weight is 159.4 and the CG 27.2. And we got 159.4/27.2. And I do apologize for the loud sound. That was me smashing my WinWing MCDU into the ground. So, takeoff weight 227.8, CG 28.2, and that is a little bit less than originally planned, but that is fine. Takeoff calculations are fine. Trim 4.7 units up. Like that. Okay, cool. And that's our load sheet complete as well. Then let's go ahead and call ground for our pushback clearance. Come on, please open. So, ground 121.755. Lisbon ground, Air Portugal 073 heavy, request pushback and startup. So, doors getting armed, transponder on.
Air Portugal 073, pushback and startup approved. Face south.
Pushback and startup approved. Face south, Air Portugal 073. Alright, B4 start checklist. Park and brake. Set. Takeoff speeds and thrust. V1 148, VR 153, V2 158, flex 55. Windows closed, bacon on, and that's the B4 start checklist complete. From flight deck. Pushback and startup approved. Facing south. Park and brake is set. Roger, please release the park and brake. Park and brake released. You're clear to start the pushback, and we're waiting for your signal to commence engine start. Roger. So we'll call it off block on time. Half past. I gotta admit, I wish it had 2 engines, not 4, but apart from that, it's a really beautiful airplane, isn't it? Okay, ground, we're ready for engine start. Sequence will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's wait for FADEC to power. Here we go, engine 1 start. Oh yeah, that sounds authentic. That person. So, 10%, engine 2 start.
Please give us your full attention. Safety first, fiesta later, eh? Cabin attendants, arm doors, and cross-check. Now, we kindly ask you to pay close attention to the upcoming safety demonstration.
So, just something quick I noticed. It's reset my calibration again, so set that throttle island position once more.
Push and start approved.
Until you hear a click. To adjust, pull the strap until it fits snugly across your
Ryanair 52 Yankee Quebec.
Simply lift the buckle. Remember, your seatbelt must be fastened whenever the seatbelt sign is illuminated. Next, please return your seatbacks and tray tables to the upright position.
18147, request push and start.
Window blinds are open for takeoff and landing.
8147, push
Come on,
and start
status
approved.
page. You should not be doing this.
Laptops or larger devices must be securely stowed during takeoff and landing.
Papa Tango, taxi
And just a
departing.
friendly reminder, smoking and the use of e-cigarettes are
Pittsburgh
prohibited
5
anywhere in
Papa
the
Tango,
world,
taxi
including
to
the
parking via
We have 2 good engine starts, starting engines 3 and 4.
Bravo.
Clear 3, 4.
Pull the mask firmly towards
Hotel 4 Alpha Whiskey 1.
Engine 3 start.
Papa Tango.
Remember to secure your own mask before assisting others. Your life vest is located under your seat or between the seats.
Okay, pushback completed, set park and brakes.
Fasten it and inflate it only after leaving the
Park and brakes set. Nice new sound, by the way.
children are available. Floor level lighting will guide you to the nearest
And
exit,
here's
which is
10%, engine 4 start.
total of 8 exits on this aircraft, and the nearest one may be behind you. In the event of an evacuation, please leave all
Ryanair
personnel
52 Yankee Quebec, ready to taxi.
safety instructions from the crew immediately.
Ryanair 52 Yankee Quebec. Runway 2 taxi via Zulu. Mike.
Ryanair, where is he? Probably down there at the low-cost terminal.
Runway 2 taxi via Zulu. Mike 3, Mike 5, Ryanair 52 Yankee Quebec.
Oh, that sound is not realistic. Nope, the real one does sound very different. I might have to send him a recording to get that right. Okay, so here is a tuck. There is a tow bar. And we're just waiting for the ramp agent and the pin. In the meantime, that looks like we've got 4 good engine starts, so please prepare the airplane for taxi, see you with the clear signal on the left-hand side, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. And here we go.
Time 8147, runway 2 taxi via Juliet. Mike. Mike.
So,
3,
trim should
Mike
be
5.
4.7 roughly, which is 28.2, and that looks about right. Okay. So, clear signal. There she is, going away, holds a pin in the hand, after start checklist. Anti-ice, off, ecom status, checked, pitch trim, 28.2, rudder trim, neutral, after start checklist, complete. Air Portugal 073, request taxi.
Air Portugal 073, runway 2 taxi via Alpha 4, Golf, Uniform, Mike 5.
Runway 02, taxi via Alpha 4, Golf, Uniform, Mike 5, Air Portugal 073. Okay, so Alpha 4, Golf, Uniform, and Mike 5. That's an easy one. Clear on the left side, clear on the right side. Brake released. What are you doing? No, don't do that. Ah, incorrect control assignment. Oh, I hate it. Then we're just gonna go outside here, because otherwise... I mean, that looks nice. But if we don't do this... Alright, that looks better, doesn't it? Yeah, now all 4 engines are responding. So, brake check. Pressure 0. What do we have here? Fuel, 0 fuel weight, or CG, disagree. Has that reset my... Yes! Why? So, 68,920 is the current fuel. CG is still 27.2, that's all unchanged. Good. Good thing that we actually looked at this message, because in the real world what I tend to do is just to ignore it. Because it comes up so often and usually is just a wrong alert. Well, not usually, but always. On the ground, at least. If you get that thing in the air, that's a different story. Okay, so we're now in Golf, then Uniform towards Mike 5. Okay, flight control check. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Alright, I have no more changes to the takeoff briefing. I think we can stick with the exact figures that we have now.
Ryanair 52, Yankee Quebec contact tower on 118.105. Switching to tower Ryanair 52.
That's pre-selected for us already. Taxi checklist. So flight controls, checked. Flap setting, config 2, radar and predictive wind shear, on and auto. Engine, start selector, norm, econ memo, takeoff, no blue, taxi checklist complete. So 10 knots for the turn. Looks like there is one more 777 at the holding point, and thereafter it's hopefully going to be our turn already. Actually, no, there is another Ryanair over there.
8147 contact tower on 118.105.
Tam, okay, so that 777 is actually going into the same direction as we do.
Ground Air Portugal 12, taxi to the ramp. Air Portugal 12, taxi to parking via hotel.
That Air Portugal must be the Embraer that we just saw landing. So the Ryanair is hopefully going to get takeoff clearance any moment.
Air Portugal 12.
Then hopefully the 777 and then us. Yeah, Ryanair's lining up, good. I wish we had more liveries. It would look so cool if we had the TUM there instead of just the Boeing house livery. Nobody else coming from the left, that's good. with our aircraft being a wide body and a 777 over there, we've got to be pretty careful with our wingtip clearance that we don't scrap anything. There is a fair chance for scrap metal in situations like this. So, Ryanair is rolling, channel is lining up.
Contact tower on 118.105.
118.105, Air Portugal 073. Bye-bye. Lisbon Tower, Air Portugal 073, heavy, ready for departure.
Air Portugal 073. Heavy, Lisbon Tower, runway 02, all short. You're number 1 behind the 737.
All short, runway 02, Air Portugal 073. Alrighty. Parking brake set, lights off, and number 1 behind the 777. He said 737, I'm not going to comment on that, because you all could think of what my comment would probably look like. So let's wait for the 777 to get its takeoff clearance.
Departure, Ryanair 52 Yankee, Quebec.
With the Ryanair now being a departure, we should probably be going any moment. So let's see, departure frequency 12513. Is pre-selected. And to review the takeoff briefing, it's gonna be left seat takeoff, runway 02, flaps 2, noise abatement procedure number 2. Can we do that? No, we can't do that. Look at that. So we gotta change that into noise abatement procedure number 1. So /3330. Good thing that we looked at this. Now we should see the plane respond over here. Yep, look at that, 3,480. In other words, we're now meeting the restriction. Sometimes you gotta do these things on wide-body Airbuses. They just don't climb very well. Alright, so, just get that 777 going, please. Not sure why he is stuck over there. The Ryanair departed just fine.
Ready to go. 147, wind 3003, runway 02, cleared for takeoff.
That was the TUM. He had an interesting way of holding short, and he also has an interesting way of taxiing. Thought it was TUM, not Aeroflot. But anyway, I ain't gonna complain, just go. Then it's gonna be our turn up next. In the meantime, well, let us roll forward to the whole throttle line so that nothing crashes into us, because if you do go over here, you can see our plane is rather long. Look at how much thrust we need. I think we're standing slightly uphill as well here. Man, look at this. All right. So, give me that sit chart, please. Here we go. Okay, the 777 is airborne, then we can start the timer. We need 2 minutes for wake turbulence separation. So, parking brake set. Now this is what it should look like when you're at the holding point. If you look at it from the outside, still got quite a bit of space to the line, but the airplane is just so huge that it looks like you're almost on the runway, but when you look at the whole throttle line carefully, you see that it actually fits rather well. So why is the frame rate decreasing now? We had perfect frames all the time, and suddenly we're at the holding point and the frames go down. There we go, that's better. Don't ask me what just happened there. I suppose I don't even want to know. Alright, we should be ready to go. Air Portugal 073 Heavy, ready for departure.
Air Portugal 073, runway 02, hold short, A330 on the runway.
Now there is no A330 on the runway. Actually there is. I didn't see him landing.
Air Portugal 073, heavy, runway 02, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 02 cleared for takeoff, Air Portugal 073 Heavy. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. Man, that click spot is totally messed. Lineup checklist, go away status page. So, takeoff runway 02 full length, TCAS, TARA, PEX 1 and 2, off, lineup checklist complete. 2 minutes are passed. Takeoff. And yes, UAI, please leave there. Manflex 55, SRS, runway auto thrust blue. Nice engine sound. Thrust set. Could someone despawn that airplane, please? It's just sitting there doing nothing on the runway. 100 knots, checked. I'm not gonna go away for you. You go away for me. Well, no comment.
Air Portugal 073, heavy, runway 02,
Rotate.
wind 300 at 4, cleared for takeoff.
Why? Positive climb. Gear up. That pitch was a little bit too high. So we got a bit of altitude, then let's intercept the course. So guys, you asked for the climb performance to get worse, now it is worse. 1.0.3 has definitely done some work on that.
Air Portugal 073, contact departure on 125.13.
125.13, Air Portugal 073. Ooh, what's our speed bug doing there? Here we go. Just give me present airspeed, please. Lisbon, departure, Air Portugal 073 Heavy, passing 2000, climbing, flight level 100.
Air Portugal 073, heavy, Lisbon departure, identified. Climb via the seat to flight level 160.
Climb via SID to flight level 160, airport go 073. 16,000 blue. That's the click spot of the sunshade. Okay, that is balked. Yep, that is definitely a new bug. And yeah guys, you wanted the bad climb performance, now you got it. Now live with it. So, speed managed. Minutes to make it to 3,000 feet. Quite unbelievable, is it? Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. And flaps 0. Speed checked. Flaps 0. Oh, look at that. Green dot right up at 250. Yes, this is a heavy airplane. Definitely is a heavy airplane. But we're getting there, slowly but steadily. Alright. Autopilot on. Give me those sunshades. Right into the sun over here. Well then, while we're climbing, let's go ahead and fill a little bit of stuff in. Check IRS and airport position. Well, the IRS drift is fine, nothing wrong with that. Okay, no comment on that. Now let's go ahead and program our ETOPS waypoints real quick. So, new waypoint, EEP1. And that's gonna be in 13.11.1. And 29.24.1. Alright, store that. Then we got the equal time point 1, which is gonna be north 8055.
1158, flight level 350.
And 32.13.6. And finally our ETOPS exit point 1, which is north 02.33.1 and 35.11.6. Alright, cool. Now that good stuff is in here, then let's also go ahead and start with our cruise path. So 18:31 is our arrival time. The schedule is at 18:35. Tell you what, let's fly a little bit faster here. What does the plane plan? 0.81.
Over to Lisbon info on 132.8.
So let's see, we got schedule 31. Come on, don't block that click spot. And fuel is 9.5. Let's see how much we can make good if we just go for Mach 8.2. This is how we do this in the real world as well. 0.82. And we're gonna do that until, where's the top of descent? Come on, you gotta be kidding me. You have a top of descent, you surely do. Yeah, roughly over here, until Kivos. So let's insert that, see what we get. Previous was 31 and 9.5, now it's 23 and 9.2. Yeah, 300 kilos for 8 minutes, absolutely worth it. So we'll maintain Mach 0.82 in the cruise. Alright, going through 10,000. Lights, signs, EFIS is basically set.
Lisbon info, Ryanair 31 Golf, 7 level 300.
Looks like I forgot to load the terrain data. Okay. Oh, so be it. So, airport selected, then we can do clear and copy, please. Meetups points are in here. That's all looking good. So, Navrat is clear. Secondary is copied. And here we go, 4,179 miles to run. Optimum level 335, cruising level 350. That looks good to me. And then I tend to say we've done everything we could. So let's go ahead and set standard for now. And standard is cross-checked, passing flight level 109 now. Checked. Alright, cool. So that's everything done that we could do for the time being. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And if anything important happens along the way, I'll let you know. And otherwise, I see you down in Rio de Janeiro on our approach. hope you enjoyed your stay on board our aircraft so far. Now, we are following the UTBOM to Alpha arrival into Rio de Janeiro, and...
Air Portugal 073, contact Rio approach on 119.0.
119.0, Air Portugal 073. Okay, so 119.0, let's go ahead and give him a shout, and we'll have to do a little bit of negotiation with him, because they want us to land on runway 10, but economically, runway 15 makes a lot more sense, so that is what we've planned. Both runways are currently in use according to the ATIS. Rio approach, Air Portugal 073 heavy, passing 14,700, descending 6,000.
Air Portugal 073, heavy, Rio approach, identified. Good afternoon, expect the ILS Tango runway 10 approach into Galeão.
Air Portugal 073, request the ILS Romeo runway 15. Alright, managed
Air
speeds.
Portugal 073, runways 10 and 15 are active. ILS runway 15 approach approved. Expect ILS runway 15.
Expecting the ILS runway 15, Air Portugal 073. Alright, so the ILS runway 15 can be expected now. Let's go ahead and help our airplane a little bit with slowing down, because it pulled one of those Airbus moves. And I'm calling it like that because I've seen that in the real world a couple times as well. It wanted to decelerate to 250 knots so early, and there is really no reason for it to do that, according to the star chart, that I simply overrode it, went to selected speed here. But obviously now that puts us a little bit high, so I'm just helping it with a speed brake here to lose that speed and get back onto the planned profile. Alright then, let's take a moment to talk about the actual expected approach. So, UTBOM to Alpha ends at UTBOM down here. That part to Almos is only for runway 10. And then out of UTBOM we've got an ILS approach to runway 15 available. As you can see, a couple of stepped altitudes down as we're coming in over the mountains over here. And then eventually got a 3-degree standard ILS really. Approach slightly to the left, radial 015 outbound Galeão VOR, climbing to eventually 4,000 first, 5,000 later. Okay, and that's really all that we got over here for that approach. So let's start the briefing after quickly doing the level 100 checks already. So lights, signs, ethers, GPS, primary, high accuracy, and start selector norm. Okay, perfect. Well then, off to the right-hand seat to start the approach briefing. And I don't think you still need this. So, we're coming into Galeão. Highest MSA 9,500 in the approach sector. It's more like 6,455, and then 5,000 for the go-around. ILS Romeo approach, runway 15, minimum 220, go around to the left, intercept that VOR, radial, outbound, climbing initially 4,000, later on 5,000. Extra fuel and time is half an hour, 2,400 kilograms. Okay, so from here we...
Portugal 073, heavy, proceed direct egg back. Descend altitude 3300 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 15 approach.
Direct Egbat, descend 3,300 until established. Cleared ILS 15, Air Portugal 073. Okay, easy going. Off to Egbat we are, and 3,300 is blue. And very nice to see that they have fixed the issue that you requested something and then got something totally different that St. James had in the past. They fixed that, so we actually got the runway that we requested. That's a good thing. Alright, cool. Then let's quickly talk about the rest of the approach briefing here. Let's see. Yeah, 3,000 high. Come on, you'll be able to do that. Also, 18 miles, 6,000. We aren't all that high. The tailwind, however, does play quite the role here. Okay, so, the approach is going to be flight director guided ILS approach, config 3, maximum reverse and auto brake low, vacate the runway to the left hand side. Nothing special or non-standard here, and that's really it, to be honest. Anything from your side? Speed alt star, activate approach phase. Localizer alive, glide slope alive. CAT 3 dual autopilot 1 and 2, glide slope star, lock star. We are cleared for the ILS after all. Alright, cool. Yeah, that's really it for the briefing.
Air Portugal 073, contact Galileo
perfect.
Tower on 118.0 crossing, HBAT.
118.0 Air Portugal 073. So we are still a little bit fast though. I mean, just intercept that ILS, will you? Might have to help it a bit here. Yeah, flight control speed brake still out. That is intentional, my friend. Alright, flaps 1.
Air Portugal
Speed checked
073,
and gear down.
heavy, Galileo Tower, roger. Air Portugal 073, heavy, Galileo Tower, winds 170 at 5.
Go around altitude 4,000 set.
Cleared to land.
Runway 15, cleared to land, Air Portugal 073. Alright, so a little bit of a challenge to get us slowed down now. That tailwind is just brutal. I'm not even sure if this can still be done. But we can always try. We're in VMC, so the stabilized approach gate is 500 feet. Flaps 2. Speed check, flaps 2. So, approach checklist, battle ref, QNH 1012, seatbelts on, minimum, Sparrow 220. Flaps 3. Speed check, flaps 3. Okay, auto brake low and engine start select the norm. Approach checklist complete. No, you don't need to give me that warning. It's an A340, not an A320. So field elevation is practically 0, so 500 feet radio altimeter is the minimum here. Or rather 500 feet on the altimeter. 500. Okay, landing checklist. Ecam memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. Yeah.
300. 100 above.
Checked. I mean, we're on the poppy.
200. Minimum.
Continue. But yeah, this would probably have been a go-around in the real world.
50, 40, 30, 320, 10.
So, speed brake up, thrust was normal. And this was a config 3 landing. I'm not sure why it says flaps landing on the Ecam. We definitely had config 3 planned. So, manual brakes. And here we are. That was an interesting one. That tailwind was just a complete fuck-up, man.
Air Portugal 073. Contact ground on 121.65.
056 short of 1.
121.65, Air Portugal 073.
Goal 2056. Winds 240 at 4. Runway 15.
What
Cleared
the
for
hell?
takeoff.
Let me switch that.
We have just landed at Rio Galimono, Apuro.
Ground Air Portugal 073, request taxi to the gate.
Got you. One of the new 7 wonders of the world. Also, the city is known for its vibrant carnival festival, which attracts millions of visitors every year.
Air Portugal 073. Heavy Galeão Tower, taxi to South Pier Gate 77 via Bravo and Charlie.
Pier 77 via Bravo and Charlie Air Portugal 073. So that's basically straight ahead. So South Pier 77 is over here. There is literally no Charlie here. So not sure where ATC got that one from. Okay, after landing checklist, radar and predictive wind shear, off, after landing checklist complete. So don't attempt a landing like that in the real world, that would probably get you a coffee date. But, yeah, I don't know if flight sim fucks you up like that. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that. So many different add-ons handling GSX in so many different ways. So let's go ahead and start the APU. So, 77.
056, contact departure. Departure 056.
Why do they give me 77 only to put an AI on it? Well, then we're gonna take 78. Lights off. Okay, I can't be bothered. I'm going to park myself. I think something like this is going to be good. Okay. Parking brake set, APU bleed on, and then APU avail. Let's wait until that's replaced by APU bleed. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Okay. Parking checklist, please, and we can release that parking brake. So, parking brake on shocks. That's the shocks in position, brake released, engines off, and fuel pumps off. Parking checklist complete. And with that, welcome to Rio de Janeiro. Now we just gotta fix that GSX mess over here. Oh, look at that, it just reset itself, but shouldn't it recognize that we're on a parking? I suppose I don't even want to know. And in any case, guys, welcome to Rio de Janeiro. Hope you enjoyed this one. Definitely an interesting arrival there, especially when you note how we were exactly on the approach profile. And then when we got that direct, which didn't do much, it cut off maybe half a mile or so. But when we got that direct, suddenly we were 3,000 feet high. Where I'm like, okay, so was that a problem with the FMS? Incorrect VNAV path calculation? Most likely. In any case, time to review the footage, and then I'm looking forward to see you all again right on the next one. So thank you very much for watching. As always, like, comment and subscribe, and then I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.